The date is November 10th. It is a Sunday. And for today's video, I wanted to talk about a little unintentional experiment that I've done on myself for the past 3 months. And that has been, virtually not listening to any music for almost 3 months now. And it's funny because it was completely unintentional. I want to talk about the effects that it has on me, um, how I've noticed changes internally and externally in the span of these 3 months, and how I'm gonna go about my relationship with music after this little experience. Um, so I actually just lost one of my AirPods, my left AirPod, 3 months ago, and I was simply too lazy to replace it. And it led to me going one day after the other, changing to weeks to eventually months of just not listening to music. Intense, unless there was music already playing in the background or I was with a group of people and they just happened to be playing music. Um, and it was an interesting experience. Um, in instances where usually listen to music, such as running or going to the gym or eating lunch, um, that was replaced by other things, silence, reading, other activities. And this isn't just specific to music; it's also relevant to listening to podcasts and just the need or the want for noise in moments where you don't want to confront, the silence or the thoughts that you have. Um, yeah. And one thing I want to point out first is that I love music. It's gotten me out of slumps. It has like a physiological effect on you. It's like a drug. You listen, it will change your emotional state and thereby your physical state in the matter of minutes, depending on the relationship that you have with a specific track or album or artist. Um, or just snippet of music. It has the power to unlock memories, to unlock repressed emotion. It has limitless power, and it's one of the universal and just first languages of humans. So it's I love music, but like anything, too much of excess has negative effects. Um, so yeah, the second thing I wanted to point out, and if I'm looking down, it's because I have some notes. Um, is that what it is more so? At least what I found it was more so for me was an addiction to needing distraction, to needing noise, to muffle out the internal monologue and to kind of push away the thoughts that you're not willing to confront. And when you're forced to do that, when there isn't any noise, uh, it forces you to confront those uncomfortable thoughts and those uncomfortable feelings. So that had an enormous benefit as far as not listening to music. One thing I've also noticed as far as a change in myself is that things that I've enjoyed in the past, maybe in college or high school, that I've kind of, you know, distanced myself away from, because of I thought they were kind of medial or boring things to do. I've grown a deeper appreciation for. Um, when I'm riding the BART or when I'm eating lunch or even when I'm on the toilet in the morning, instead of pulling out, especially if I'm in public, instead of pulling out my phone for TikTok, it's a different situation. When I'm at home, I'll probably still listen to something, but when I'm in public, instead of listening to TikTok or YouTube or pulling up a podcast, I'll sit there in silence or I'll read a book. I was able to get through two books. One was over 1,200 pages, and the other was about 700 pages, and I thoroughly enjoyed both books. I'm gonna probably make another video on the like a little review on those two books. It's a little side tangent, and I used to love reading. I used to be a huge bookworm, but I've noticed that I've distanced myself from those habits, and a lot of it is attributed to um just relying on music or podcasts when I'm in the bar or I'm eating lunch, I'll revert to doing that as opposed to reading or just sitting with myself because in my head, it's a more recent experience that I have, and it's something that I know will give me a dopamine hit that I think I'll enjoy more. But I've discovered a newfound joy with more medial, longer things that take a longer time, like reading. So I genuinely think it's lengthened my attention span, especially for somebody that was diagnosed with ADHD when they were a kid, but never really, medicated themselves to resolve it. Um, Something else that I've noticed is less wandering of thoughts. I'm more present in the thoughts that I do have, and I have more just spontaneous ideation, spontaneous original thoughts and ideas that come up. And I already have a journal that I keep with me, but I've developed the habit of just keeping it with me at all times. So whenever those spontaneous thoughts arise, I'm able to just write it down in my notebook. It could be related to anything. Um so yeah, just and I think it's a blessing for us to be able to have just the abundance of seemingly infinite information at our hands, at all times. But when you don't give yourself the peace or time to process the inordinate amount of information that we ingest every day, it just it's like a trash chute. It just goes out the other way. And I found that you know having no music for the past 3 months has allowed me to just think of solutions to problems that I've had that I've been really stuck with for a while. Um, and they just solutions seemingly just rise up when I'm not necessarily thinking about it, which is interesting. Um, yeah, and the other thing the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about was that I've known this before just because I've grown up with Islam as a Muslim, and so this idea was kind of touted already. But music has subliminal messaging. The predominant music of the time informs the culture, and it informs subconsciously your thoughts, whether you recognize it or not. Um, and depending on the music that you listen to, it can be a source of positivity or negativity and toxicity. Um, and so after not listening to it for a while, I was able to just recognize um just some of the music that I listened to before, and just uh, it's a lot. It's forced me to be more aware and intentional with the music that I listen to on my own individual time. Now I'm actually gonna get headphones today, so we're gonna see how things change. Um, but yeah, it's definitely been an interesting 3 months. I just wanted to share this experience, this unintentional experience that I've had. If anyone has any thoughts, ideas, comments, similar experiences, similar experiments that they've done to themselves, just let me know in the comments. And I'm happy to reply and hear about it. If I have any call to action, it's just experiment with this, maybe for a week, for a day, for a month, and see what effects that it has on you and just your day to day experience. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, appreciate you watching this video, whoever it is, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.